The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Radio Global, Who Knew Productions, JSA Media, and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Hey, this is Jimmy with your weekly lineup. Starting on Mondays at 8 o'clock p.m., we have Spot On with Lino and Debbie. Right after Spot On is Straight Talk with Matt Hazley. He's on at 10 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday night, 8 o'clock p.m., Talk Time with Val. Right after Val is Sammy V with Thoughts for Food. He's on at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. On Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have Outline with Jay and Sarah. Right after Outline, we have a radio show called Suspense, and that's at 9 p.m. Eastern. And at 10 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday, we have On the Air with Mike Allen. On Thursday nights at 9 p.m., we have Real Talk with Robert Zuckerman. After Real Talk, we have Night Talk with Joe Rocks. He's on at 10 p.m. Eastern. At 11:30 p.m. Eastern, we got Pot Talk with Jim and Paul. And at 12:30 a.m., we have Outline with Jay and Sarah. They're on right after Pot Talk. On Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, we have Straight Talk with Matt Hazley. And to wrap it up on Saturdays at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, we have Thoughts for Food with Sammy V and Chris T. That's your weekly lineup. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Well, hi everybody. This is Real Talk with Robert Zuckerman. Presenting your host, Robert Zuckerman.
Hey Val, thank you for that. And
You're
it's good to be back. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
Good. It's good to be back here, and we have a really special guest tonight. But I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed your show the other night. I think it was so all encompassing, and I mean, every time I went away and tuned back in, you were on to another subject. From ancient Greek laptops, and I think the thing that was really the big winner was the whole talk about insect penises. Actually,
we graduated from insect to animal.
Oh, okay.
We hit mammalian at one point.
Oh, wow. Woohoo! Okay. Well, but it was still on that subject. But
yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to just, before we introduce our guest, you had also posted something today about a friend of yours, and this is on a more serious note. But if you could fill us in a little bit about that.
Okay, I'd be happy to. Thank you for giving me a minute to say something about it.
Yeah, please.
Excuse me. All right. So, the best man at John and my wedding, his name is Neil. He is a really good friend, and he's been a friend of John's for, so very long. But I think I stole him from John. But anyway, Neil has, a beautiful daughter named Allie, and 9 days ago, Allie had a baby. Prior to the baby's being born, everything was fine. 10 fingers, 10 toes, good heartbeat. Prognosis was excellent. And then baby Ryan was born, and they got to take him home. And 2 days later, they got a phone call that there was something wrong with his blood. So they took him back in, and it turns out that Ryan was diagnosed with a rare genetic disorder known as PKU. Now, this has been, extremely devastating news for everybody, but what PKU is that his body cannot break down protein, so he can't even digest his mother's milk. He has to be on a specific diet, specific protein-free supplement diet, because what can happen is if he does have protein, or his protein levels get a little too high, it'll cause seizures or brain damage and mental retardation. The seizures can also cause, deafness, blindness, a whole slew of problems. As a result, they have to go into the doctor twice a week and get tested for his levels. Of course, that means she won't be able to work because she'll be on round-the-clock care for him. And, getting back and forth to the doctors and everything, and even the protein, the special formula that they need, the protein-free special formula, it's very expensive. Yeah. So they set up a GoFundMe page, and we were talking today about, looking at the state for assistance with social care, because they do have special programs for children, right, that help and assist parents with children with special needs. Right. And the GoFundMe page is on the Armed Radio Global website. It's on the Armed Radio Global Facebook pages, Twitter pages. It's on my Facebook page. It's been shared around. Now, any little bit helps. If it's $5 or $10 or a prayer or even just somebody sharing the post, that little bit helps. And, hopefully we can do something to help Ali and Ryan and Nick, and Ryan will be able to grow up to be a healthy, happy baby.
We certainly hope so. Are there any known cures or treatments for this, or not at this point?
No, it's a rare genetic mutation, and as a result, there's not really, there's no treatment. The special formula is basically, it's a medication containing synthetic protein so that Ryan will still be able to grow and develop, but it's no actual protein because his body, it's basically protein is toxic to him.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so even like fruit, vegetables, things we take for granted, he won't be able to ingest any of it because it all contains slight amounts of protein.
Yeah. Wow. Well, as I said in our little dialogue about this before, that I hope and pray that he has like an amazing life, and that something happens, because you never really know with these things. So let's all keep baby Ryan, in our prayers at very least. And
I'd like to thank Lynn from On Radio Global for her donation too as well today. That was really sweet, Lenny. Thank you.
Okay, and so
we just lost Steve.
Oh, okay. Well, that's too bad. I was just going to introduce him.
There you go. He's back.
Okay, good. Okay. Anyway, we do have a very special guest today, and as part of the theme of the show, as I mentioned in some of the postings about it, is that in life, it's very interesting, and you never know where life is going to take you and who you're going to meet. And also, especially in today's world, what the power of good intention and good action and small action can have amazing results. And the fact that I'm here speaking to you tonight and on this radio show is really the result of our guest tonight, Mr. Steve Joyner. Oh, boy.
Oh, it sounds like his connection is having an issue.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to keep talking about him, and hopefully he'll come back in. But anyway, so somehow I met Steve Joyner on Facebook through someone else, and then we began talking, and because of his place where he is in life, he is grieving the loss of his mother a couple of years ago, and because my place in life where I'm transitioning from because of my disability, having transitioned or lost my work in the film business as a photographer, we kind of fit into each other's mutual needs. And within a couple of weeks, before I knew it, Steve had picked up the phone, made calls, and connected me with a number of radio shows. Was trying to get me speaking engagements at the colleges in Northern California, and all these things started happening, and so here we am. So that's the power of good intention and good action in life. Just even small actions can lead to results. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So now we're just waiting for Steve to hopefully come back in here.
You said even the smallest action can produce results. Well,
yeah.
That is so true on so many levels, Robert, because, excuse me, look at it this way. Oh, Steve's back, so let's...
Hello, Robert. Val, you there?
Hey, welcome back.
We're here. And
I'm so sorry.
Well,
okay.
Well, you're going to have to listen to the show when it's archived to hear the glowing introduction I made of you.
Oh, thank you, Robert.
But anyway, we're very glad to have you here, Steve, and thank you for being here. I basically was telling the story, and you might tell it from your point of view of how we connected. And I know, Val, do you want to finish your thought about the small actions you were saying?
The smallest actions in the world. Yeah, I mean, it's like this. Steve, the first time I spoke to Steve, he basically reached out to say thank you. And you know something? That's not something a lot of people do. So it tells you a lot about a person's character, you know, that he shows true appreciation. He's a genuine individual, which means that it makes you just want to get to know him better. Right?
Yes,
but I think his connection is going wonky. So why don't you give him a call, Robert, and have him on the phone and put him on speakerphone?
Okay, let's do that here. Hold on a second here. Let me go to the details and call. Okay, we're going to give a call here. Because that could work, right?
Yeah. Once you have it on speaker, it should work. Okay, so
so
quote that I was trying to okay, so this is what it is.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, let's see, where is it? Oh yes, out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls. The most massive characters are said with scars. And we tend to find that is, you know, more and more real as days go by. As we get older, we get wiser. We realize that the people who've actually been through things and seen more and lived and survived are the ones who are happiest or most at peace because they have faced their demons and they know that no matter what life brings them, they're going to take every moment and live it to the fullest and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's true. Could you go back and say the first part of that quote again, please?
Oh, it's by Khalil Gibran.
Oh, okay.
One of my all-time favorite authors.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls. The most massive characters are said with scars.
Okay. Is that from the Prophet?
From Khalil Gibran.
No, but I mean Khalil Gibran was the author of the book The Prophet.
Oh, I'm not sure if it was from the Prophet or not. I really don't know.
Okay. Yeah, but that's true, and it's I've heard that actually, you know, similar things said in other ways. You know, a lot of, you know, there's been a lot of quotes about it, but something that I heard was from Lao Tzu, you know, the Chinese sage. Mm-hmm. He basically refers to darkness as the gateway to understanding.
Oh, that's absolutely true.
You know, so a lot of times in life, that's when we...
You said darkness is the gateway of understanding, right?
Yeah.
And that reminds me of T.S. Eliot.
Oh, okay. Are we gonna have a quote off here?
Apparently, but no, seriously, it really reminds me of T.S. Eliot. You know that famous saying, between the idea and the reality, between the motion and the act falls the shadow, between the desire and the spasm, between the potency and the existence, between the essence and the descent falls the shadow. This is the way the world ends.
Oh, no, wait a minute.
When everything falls between the cracks.
Yes.
And we don't actually live in the reality.
Hold on,
we don't
Todd.
live in the idea.
Okay, now wait a minute.
Do you have him on the phone?
I have another friend on the phone here. Hello? Yes, Todd.
Yes, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you calling into the radio show here?
He needs to get closer to your mic.
To the radio show. Now I can't hear it because I was doing it all on the phone. I'm in or out. But what happened to Steve?
I don't know. We're having a little technical problems. So, but hang in there. Hang in there, okay?
Yeah, I was just calling to say hello, my friend, and things are going well here.
Oh, very good. Well, let's pick it up tomorrow. And I'm gonna. Is it okay if I share with Steve what I sent you before the write-up?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Well, let me hang up here. We're going to try and see if we can get Steve back in. Thanks a lot, Todd. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye. That's Todd Chase from Napa Valley, and he's really plugged into the whole wine country scene in Napa Valley.
Oh, can he be my new best friend?
Yeah, exactly.
Although I'm kind of a lightweight. John took me wine tasting, and we were supposed to go to 5 different wineries. We ended up going to 3. I tasted at 2. I mean, I literally just tasted 5 sips, and I don't really swallow generally, but I did because it was really yummy. And it was tiny sips because I don't even finish what they give you.
Yeah. And
I was completely happy. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
I won't say drunk. I'll just say John was very happy.
Well, it's a nice thing. I haven't done that in quite some time, but it's and I'm sure that I believe that whole, especially Northern California wine country, has developed back since I was there in the 70s. But it's really something else. It's such a nice. There's so much love of quality there, and it's a beautiful countryside. So
right.
I think that whole thing is really interesting. I tried calling Steve and couldn't reach him. He didn't pick up his phone, so let me see if I can...
Okay. Well, how about we tell our listeners a little bit about Steve?
Oh, okay.
So Steve is very new to me. Obviously, he's Robert's friend, but we've recently made contact, and I have the opinion of him that he is a very genuine, very sensitive individual with a true depth of character. He seems to be somebody who would want to help anybody, whether he knows them or not.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about a person. But his bio...
Oh, here he's calling. Let's see.
There you go.
Steve Joyner International, can I help you?
Yeah, my wife is trying to fix the whole app that keeps disconnecting.
Oh, okay. Well, can we talk like this, Val? Is it okay if we do it on a speakerphone?
It will be. You just have to put the volume up way high and put it closer to the mic.
Oh, let me do that here.
Talk on the phone like this?
Yeah. Can Steve hear me?
Can you hear Val?
I can hear Val. Can you hear me? It's Steve.
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll make do like this, and it's like my other quote is the Art Linkletter quote, which says things turn out best for people who make the best of how things turn out.
That's right.
Well, that's so true tonight. I'm so sorry, guys.
Well, that's okay. I mean, and the other one is it's in one of my Kindsight pieces that I wrote. It was said to me by Willie, who's the doorman. Okay, now maybe you're back in.
Yay! Welcome back. Steve, can you hear us on the air? We're on TeamSpeak. You're fine. Don't apologize. You're perfectly fine.
Robert?
Yeah, I'm still on the phone with you, Steve, but we see that Air Shipment has joined the show here.
1 second.
Okay, so we're going to hang up the phone now.
Robert?
Yeah, I'm going to hang up the phone. Are you there now?
Steve.
Are you there, Steve? Hello? Oh, I should have kept him on the phone, but...
No, he's there. He has a connection. I think his wife just connected it, and she's probably gone to get him. He probably stepped out of the room while she was fixing it.
Oh, got it.
For those who aren't aware, Steve Joyner is he started acting at the age of 5. His first on-screen role was at the age of 6 at the Disney comedy. In the Disney comedy, The Devil and Max Devlin. Yes. This was followed by a couple of other films in the early 80s before returning to San Diego to do live theater and indie projects.
Hold on.
But as you know, I mean, Steve is he's a very diverse individual. So aside from being an actor, he has other projects, and his projects are basically his talent is in promotions. He's the person that helps other people basically in any way he can. And that's how he became known as the Joyner.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh my God! Thank God! I am
Echoing through Robert. Robert, hang up the phone.
I'm echoing through Robert. Sorry.
Okay, no, now you're good. I just hung up the phone.
There you go.
Okay.
How are both of you? I am so sorry. This is the whole thing when Caddy Wonka saw me here, and I don't know what.
Well, anyway, welcome, Stephen. Val was just singing your praises and giving a little bit of your history, how you started out as an actor, a child actor. So why don't you pick it up? Tell us a little bit about your history and your life.
Okay. Well, I was born in San Diego, California. And my father was first generation American. My grandparents came over from Poland in 1935, and originally my last name was Jaworski. And then when they went through, when they came to the States, they changed it. A custom guy did or whatever, and that's how I ended up with the name Joyner.
Okay.
Anyway,
so does that mean you can make pierogies?
I make what?
Can you make pierogies?
Polish food.
What? I don't think so. I can't cook anything really. So.
Okay, I will try not to be too disappointed. But go on. Sorry. So your first role, Steve. What was your first role in the movie industry, in the TV industry, film industry?
Anyway, so had a parents that really had a rough marriage. My father worked for a nuclear power plant called San Onofre. It was in San Clemente.
Oh. Yeah.
You guys hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay,
can you hear us?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. Good.
And then when I was about, mostly he was gone most of the time, and then he would go up to San Luis Obispo and worked for another power plant called Diablo, and he was in charge of the division up there. My mother, she was mostly my caretaker. She looked after me, raising me, and my older brother, my grandmother, lived right down the street, my mom's mom, and so I was mostly around her a lot. And through my mom, I grew appreciation for older films. My mom in the late 50s went to a school in Arcadia. Do you know where that is, Robert?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And it was called Anokia, and it was a school for girls. It was a college preparatory school. And her roommate was Cecil B. DeMille's granddaughter. And then she went to school with, like, Ernie Kovac's daughter and DeRocher's daughter and Ed Sullivan's niece.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it was a school where, like, all the kids from Beverly Hills School, if they got kicked out, they kind of went there. So it wasn't, it wasn't really a great picnic, but, so she got to meet, like, Troy Donahue's sister went there. And so anyway, so I remember watching these older films as a kid, and she really taught me an appreciation for them. And so I was watching films that predated me by, like, 40 years. And for some reason, I would always watch the credits. And I always like to see who was involved in everything, not just the actors and, the director. I'd like to see, key grips, all those guys. Because essentially, and you know this from experience, Robert, it does kind of take a small arm to make a motion picture.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had a neighbor, and you guys may have heard of him. His name was Mario Lopez. And he went on to do Saved by the Bell and other things. And he's a
big TV host now. He hosts a lot of things.
Yeah, he had a great career. I talked to him right after my mother passed away, matter of fact. And he lived right down the street from me, and we both were on a soccer team together. And he was going to this place called Multimedia Arts. They had an acting coach, a woman named Drew Scott. And I went in there, and it was just an acting school, they were teaching you how to do, like, sight reading and things like that. And back then, they would have cattle calls, where it was, they didn't have any of the social media stuff. So you'd read about auditions coming up, and they need kids a certain height, hair color, etc. And I went to a few dozen of those, and then I landed my first on-screen gig in 1981. It was a Disney movie called The Devil and Max Devlin. And it was with Bill Cosby and Elliot Gould. Did you see that movie, Robert?
I didn't see it, but I remember the title.
I was going to say you're probably like one of the only 5 people on Earth that did see it. It was kind of Elliot played a slumlord that went to hell, and this is a Disney movie, mind you. And Cosby played the devil's lawyer, and so I'm not going to make any jokes about anything about any of that. But
yeah,
I remember it was.
You broke up there. Can you repeat that, please?
Whoops.
His mother. I remember the. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so the scenes I was in, there was a kid named Adam Rich who was Nicholas on a TV show called Is Enough. And his mother in the film ran a daycare, and Elliot was trying to win her over because he was going to get his soul back. It's a ridiculous story. And I was one of the daycare kids. And I had like 2 lines, but what was great was we were mostly, on set most of the time whenever the scene was called. So I got to converse with Elliot a couple times. And did you ever meet him, Robert?
Who's that? Elliot?
Elliot Gould. Yeah.
Oh, Elliot Gould. No, I didn't meet him, but he was, I knew him from a lot of films. I was growing up, Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice and the original MASH, and films like that. So he was part of that whole.
Statement.
Oh,
you there, Robert?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I was so anyway. Yeah, Elliot was Independence Day, which you and Val know about that film. And I remember he played. I think he played. Didn't he play Jeff Goldblum's father in that movie?
That I don't remember. But Steve, I also just wanted to mention while we were trying to figure out your the technical thing that we got that Todd called in and to wish us well. So he wanted to wish you well on the show, and he's listening.
How's Chase doing?
Todd Chase called in to wish you well. I just wanted to let you know that.
Well, it's good. I like Todd Chase. He's a great guy. He lives in the Napa Valley, and really been really helping out with stuff. So I did that film. It was fun. I got to work with Elliot. I talked to Cosby for like 5 minutes. I remember because he was playing kind of an invisible character, so we weren't really supposed to look at him. He was there, but I remember the joke of the whole thing was that about a week before I went to go do the shoot, I know who he was. And you might like this, Robert. My older brother had a really wicked sense of humor. He showed me a Paul Mazursky film called Bob, Carol, Ted, and Alice. Do you remember that?
Right. Movie? Yeah.
Really racy for its time, man. So I see him and Natalie Wood and Diane Cannon and Robert Culp,
right.
and that. And so when I went up to him, he was expecting me to be like, ask him some kid question, and I proceeded to ask him, so why didn't you guys go through with it in Vegas? So I don't know, but it was a fun thing. And then I appeared in a couple other features, and then I went back to San Diego and pursued theater, and it was a tough gig.
So you went from being on screen into live theater, is what you're saying? Hello?
Yeah, you there, Robert?
I'm here. So you went from went from one medium. On camera into live theater, which is like a whole different dynamic.
Yeah, well, you know firsthand that with actors, the work is so unsteady at best. Unless it takes a long time, and especially when you're a little kid, it just didn't materialize, and it was what it was. I had fun with what I did, and then I just live theater and got to play some really fun parts, and just. I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was fun. But then, and then I had a neighbor who, a really good friend of mine. His name was Robert Gaynor, camera crane operator, and he worked for Warner Brothers for like many, many years. I don't even know if Bob's still alive. But when he was on the set of the Devil and Max Devlin, I remember during the setup he talked about when he would photograph like the neighborhoods and things like that. I found like the whole filmmaking process really cool. They had the from the boom guys, so all the stuff that it takes to do that. And I remember I developed a friendship with Robert Gaynor, and I don't know, it was it was what it was. But like I said, I went back and did live theater, and I wasn't the greatest actor. I was probably mediocre at best. But and then
don't ever say that about yourself.
Well, I mean, I was.
You know why?
Why is that, Val?
where you are today is a direct result of your multiple experiences in life, and you have to remember that the ultimate choice for man, in as much as he is given to transcend himself, is to create or destroy, to love or to hate. So you can choose to create and be creative, and to love, and in so doing to transcend yourself forever, which I think is the reality of your life from what I know of you.
Yeah, that's you're right.
So don't be self-deprecating. Enjoy it.
I mean, but I don't want to be like, oh, I was so great. No, I mean, I was, you know, they were where they were, and I'm actually starting film tomorrow. First day of filming tomorrow. I'm in a comedy that's going to be filmed here in Fresno, Clovis, California. So coming soon to Redbox, hopefully. I don't know, but anyway, my parents divorced when I was 10, and my father, I don't want to get into deep detail about him, but he wasn't really a kind man. He was a womanizer, and he physically abused my mom a lot, and it was really a hellacious time. And then,
hey, Steve,
yeah,
I'm sorry to we have to hold off because we have to take an obligatory commercial break here.
Okay.
So just hold your thought and continue it when we come back. Okay.
I will remember. Thank you.
Are you hangry? Know the signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's E24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
E24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
Hey guys, this is Sarah from Night Talk with Joe Rocks. Are you guys looking for a quiet getaway with a modern flair? Because I have a really great place I want to tell you all about. The Milestone Inn at 146 South Pomperaug Avenue in Woodbury, Connecticut has the perfect combination of modern amenities, but is surrounded by 3 verdant acres for a peaceful weekend getaway. And guess what? Mention the promo code Joe Rocks and you'll receive the Joe Rocks Signature Suite. You'll also receive a box of Night Talk chocolates, premium bath accessories, and a beautiful king-size bed fitted with luxury bedding. At the Milestone Inn, you'll enjoy plush comforts, modern amenities at exceptional value. Call and book the Joe Rock Suite now at 203-405-6261 at the Milestone Inn in Woodbury, Connecticut. Hey everyone, I want to tell you all about an amazing salon. Joyce's, located at 132 Ferry Street in Everett, Massachusetts. Joyce's specializes in the latest techniques in coloring, styling, cutting, and beach waves. Joyce's features Sukesha all-natural nutrient products and organic color. Joyce's full-service spa and salon, located at 132 Ferry Street, Everett, Massachusetts. 617-387-6688. Specializing in you.
Hey there, all you creepy people. This is Kevin Wayne from Portland, Oregon. You're listening to Armed Radio, home of the big guns.
Hey, this is your girl, J Monique.
And Chulita Sarita, aka Chichi. And you can listen to Outline at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Or Thursday, 9:30 Pacific Time on Armed Radio Global. Right after Pot Talk.
Hi, and welcome back to Real Talk with Robert Zuckerman. Here's your host, Robert Zuckerman.
Oh, I love that. I want to know that guy. Anyway,
he's a sexy beast. Sexy.
Anyway, we're back talking with Steve Joyner, all the way from Fresno. So, Steve, you were telling us about your career and in acting, and you're starting a new movie tomorrow. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It's a comedy. It's called Welcome to Ghost Town. It's kind of like if you get The Omen versus The Omen meets Blazing Saddles. I can't even get into it.
Wow.
It's too wacky. I'll tell you later on. It's we threw out everything but the kitchen sink on this one, and so I'm one of the executive producers on it, and so we'll see what happens.
Oh, good. And where is it filming? Is it filming in your area?
Yeah, I don't actually live in Fresno. I live in a town called Clovis, and it's about 5 miles east. It's all right. It's 5 miles east of here, and it's like at the gateway of the Sierra Mountains. And so.
Oh, got it.
But a far cry from my hometown of San Diego. I miss it. But anyway, as I was saying, and I don't want to bore your listeners, but my parents divorced when I was 10. My father, he became a womanizer. He was physically abusive to my mom, and unfortunately, some of the earliest memories I have of my life was, seeing this stuff. And they didn't have the DV laws they do now, and so. They split up, and we had a beautiful house in Bonita, which was a suburb of San Diego, and he became homeless, my mom and I did, because he got custody of me, and then my father decided to go exempt on his taxes for 3 years. So we drove home one day, and there was an IRS padlock on the door. So
wow.
Sadly, there are no photos of me as a kid out there. So, but if I want to plop in an old movie, I could see myself. It's kind of like a time capsule. But it was sad. But what I loved about it was my mom and I, we ended up getting an apartment, and my mother was my saving grace. She was the one that said, you know what, he can't hurt me anymore. He can't hurt you. He never physically hurt me, but the mental abuse could be just as bad.
Oh, yeah.
Or it could be worse.
Yeah. And so she decided to she volunteered at a battered women's shelter, and then they had a thing in San Diego called the Polinsky Center, which was where battered and abused children. It's like if they have to take a child out of a house in an emergency before they can place them in foster care or whatever, this is like a safe house. So my mother took a very horrific experience and decided to, like you did with Hindsight, Robert, not take a bad thing and make it good. You counter terrorism, by that. And she always said, I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor.
Yeah.
And I loved her very deeply. She taught me everything that I am today was installed from her. And she admired. I mean, she told me, whatever you want to be in life, I'll stand behind you. And I'll support you with it. And so, I got back into acting, and she, just amazing woman. Her name was Mary Ann, and she was born in 1946, and she'd be probably 68 now, I believe, if she was alive. But she was a hippie chick, went to Woodstock, and just a great gal. And then my father ended up owning a company in the Imperial Valley, and it was a geothermal company, and he never paid child support because he hid everything. And I'm not gonna bash him, but he ended up catching lung cancer in 1999, and he calls me, of all people, to come take care of him. And I told my mom, I said, I don't want to go deal with the guy. He wasn't around. I mean, even my bar mitzvah, he didn't show. I mean, which is it's a very significant thing. And,
I know what bar mitzvah is.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm saying, it's like your father not coming to your graduation.
Oh yeah.
And so,
what's worse is your rites of passage, just like not coming. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, so I told my mom, like, no, screw him. I'm not going to go take care of him. I don't want to deal with him. She said, yeah, you are. And I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, the guy's a monster. She said, look, I forgave him, so you can do the same. So I went over there and I took care of him for 3 months, and the cancer ate him up, and I lost him. And so
did you get any closer to him during that period?
I did, Val. It's funny because he was like Robert. He was a very tall man, and he became so frail. My dad did. He became frail. He lost all of his hair, and he just basically. Are you there?
Yes, okay. We're all here.
Anyway, and he. I took care of him, and I had an older brother that unfortunately was, he in substance abuse. He's a drug addict, and he had a wife and kids, and he didn't really want to deal with any of it. But course, when the will came out and after my dad died, my brother's first in line to, pick at him and all that. But anyway, I got to know my dad more than I ever did, and he told me stories about why he drove himself so hard to make over $100,000 by the late 70s was because he was ashamed of being this Jewish immigrant's kid in America and coming from poverty. So
right.
I understand that drive, but I asked him, why'd you hit Mom and why'd you do that? And he said, I don't know. My father wasn't that way. My mother wasn't that way. He said, I got lost, and we talked. And Robin Williams, late Robin Williams, said something
Hold on.
point.
I want to get back to something before you move on to that other point there. You talked, but did you, even if you didn't forgive, and of course you'll never forget, did you at least come to terms and find some peace with him?
I did.
That's exactly why your mother said to you, yes, you are. You're going.
Yeah, I did.
Your mother was an amazing, strong woman who was giving you more than you even realized, because that type of wound in your life, it could fester, and it creates such disharmony that you won't even, recognize later on. So, yeah. You're right. She was an amazing woman.
And then,
go on.
We lost him. Years went by. My brother sunk deeper in his addiction. He got on heroin, and I was talking to Robert about this. Robert did a poster campaign for the movie Permanent Midnight. That is correct, right, Robert?
Correct.
And I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, Val. It's a good movie, and Ben Stiller's in it. It's about a writer named Jerry Stahl, I believe his name was, and he sunk into the depths of addiction. And by watching that movie, I kind of got an insight into who my brother was. And unfortunately, my brother had my nephew James, who's 6 years old. He passed away, and it was a horrific thing that happened. I don't want to speak about, but lost him. And then my mother started developing a lot of pains, and she ended up getting a pacemaker and then a stent, and I became her 24-hour caretaker, and I wouldn't let her out of my sight. And anyway, so May 31st, 2013, I woke up one morning and found her gone, and I was crushed. And so after that, it's all right. No. Things get good. Don't worry. That was the tip of the horribleness.
What was her condition? Can you, or are you going to talk about that?
Oh no, she died of congestive heart failure in her sleep. She had a pacemaker. She had a stent. She had diabetes. She just had a lot of things, Robert, that hit her all at once.
Yeah.
So the last 5 years of her life were very hard. But I loved her, and I actually did learn how to cook. I became a better man in those 5 years than I think I'll ever be as far as how to take care of somebody, because it's really a lot. It's hard, and all the years I worried about her dying every night. I thought she's going to die. What the hell? I worried, and I'm mad at myself because that was kind of wasted time right there. But my mother taught me simplicity. She taught me, don't look at the differences, look at the similarities and things, because differences are what divides people and causes for not a good outturn. And also, my mother always she'd say to me, like, don't ever disrespect a woman, because a woman brought you into this world.
Right.
She was, and a woman can take you out.
Val, she got me on that one too. And so after she passed away, I was living with a friend of mine in San Diego named Arthur, and I was in grief, and I told Robert that in Judaism we have a thing, it's called Shiva, where we grieve for a while, and then I didn't even do that, and I stayed away from people, and I thought I could find a fix-it. So I started dating a few women, and that didn't work, and then I thought, well, if I do this and that, all these little things, and it just didn't work. And then by chance, I met a woman, and she had 4 kids, one that's 11 now and 13, and one that's 18 and 23, sorry. Anyway, and I met this woman, and that was when my life started over. And he accepted this broken down guy for all he was, and I fell in love with her instantly. And she is the operations manager of a solar company, and said, I'm going to be moving up to Fresno, and they gave her an office up here, and we moved up here, and then I,
So wait a minute, how long have you guys been married? You're relatively new.
We got married in December, just recently.
Oh,
wow.
Well, congratulations, guys.
Yes. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. Yeah, I'm friends with Eddie Deason. You remember him, Robert? Eugene from Greece and Polar Express. Yeah, Eddie said he gave me a good well wish. But So anyway, I'm kind of like a stay-at-home dad now, if you will, and the talent promotions directors thing. Excuse me. Is I started trying to help people get in the industry. Now, how me and Robert met. Me and Robert became Facebook friends, and one night, I'd been bothered by this guy in Texas who wanted to be an actor, and he was bugging me like, should I do this, should I do that, and I didn't really know what to say to him. I told him, don't move out to LA until you got something going. You know this, Robert. You don't just up and move there unless you want to be a waiter. So I messaged Robert and I said, may I speak to you, Mr. Zuckerman? You sent me your number. I don't know if you remember this, Robert, but anyway, I called you.
Yeah.
And I said, hello, Mr. Zuckerman. You're like, well, call me Robert. And I said, well, it's an honor to speak with you. And you're like, well, the honor's mine. And gave me some sound advice that night. And then I would see your post, and I knew all the causes you were involved in, Hope and Carry. That you were an activist for a lot of things. We talked about Hindsight. You talked about Bold and is it the Bold and Beautiful projects?
Right. The Bold Beauty.
Bold Beauty. Sorry.
Right.
And I would read your post, and me and you just started talking. If you remember, we just talked and shoot the breeze.
Yeah.
And we shared great stories. And I remember I really liked Robert Evans, and we had a Robert Evans story. I don't know if we could ever talk about it, but anyway, but. What happened, Val, was I talked to Robert about a month ago, and I don't know what it was, but I was talking about living here, I think, and I said something like, you got to come visit. Robert's like, well, I'd love to speak to universities. And I said, well, let me call Fresno State. And he's like, okay, that'd be great. And so next morning I called Fresno State, and then from there I called a dozen other colleges and emailed back and forth and tried to get him a speaking engagement. Now, I remembered I was friends with Joe Servino, and I was following Night Talk, and I saw, and I just went on a whim and said, okay, I'll message Joe. Hi Joe, how you doing? Oh, hey, what's up? And I explained who Robert was. We talked, and then, the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the same thing happened with a woman named Sterling Elizabeth Day, amazing lady, and she works for ClearSource Radio.
ClearSource, right.
He invited me to an event. And I said I couldn't go, but are you a radio lady? She's like, yeah. I'm like, well, I have a friend named Robert, and boom. And then a woman named Esther, is it Lacone? I can never pronounce it.
Liakina, she pronounces it.
Anyway.
Liakina.
It opened the door for that. So basically, why did I do what I did? Number one, I care for Robert very deeply. And by helping Robert, it has helped me get over this big hole that I've had in my heart over my mom. And, they say you've really grown when you can tell your story and not cry anymore. And I'm not there yet, guys. I'm almost there. But I'm just really proud of Robert and all you've done, man.
Oh, thanks, Steve. And I'm really grateful for the gift of our friendship. And, and as you know, my mom is in a nursing home now and is going through some challenges, and but she's my best friend in life.
Yeah.
And so I totally, and every time I tell Steve I'm going to go see my mom in a nursing home, she goes, give her a hug. And so that's important because we never know what's going to happen. We never know what's going to know. And I may have told the story. This is probably about 10 years ago. I was in a CVS pharmacy with my mom, and like most moms or many moms, my mom is a coupon fanatic. So we're standing at the cash register, and she's going back and forth and arguing with the cashier with maybe about over 25 cents or some minute amount. And meanwhile, there's only one cashier, and there's a big line of customers. And I said, "Come on, Mom, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it." And she goes, "No." So she insisted. So finally, you could tell the customers were getting irate. So I kind of ushered my mom out of the, I said, "Come on, let's go," and I ushered her out, and we were, standing out in the parking space next to the van, and a lady comes to the door, and she goes, "Don't get mad at your mother. You came from her belly." And I was like, I just said, "Oh my God," and we just, I just gave her a hug, and we hugged it out. But that's the truth, really. Mm-hmm. And so, and then, did I ever, Steve? I think I might have told you, Val. Did I tell you guys my art?
Did you tell us what?
The Arnold Schwarzenegger story.
No.
Yeah, I did hear this one, Robert. Go ahead.
But, I was the still photographer on the movie Terminator 3 back in 2002. And they were filming in downtown Los Angeles at the LA Center Studios in the soundstage there. And we're sitting there one day, and it's between big setups, and Arnold's in his chair, and he looked over at me, and he goes, "Robert, do you have your cell phone?" I said, "Yeah, sure, Arnold." And he goes, "I want to talk to your mother." So I called my mom, who's, in Miami Beach. "Hey, Mom, someone wants to talk to you." And I put her on the phone with Arnold, and they're talking and talking, and it must have been 5-10 minutes they're having this conversation, and in the end, Arnold says to my mom, "Your son is the best photographer I've ever worked with." And then he goes, but he doesn't get the credit you do because you produced him. And I thought that was such a nice shout out to parents, and parents don't often get credit, but they should get credit for their kids. And it's, basically, I'm listening to your story about your mom and what she told you about your dad, and she really taught you about taking the high road in life, Steve. And that's what I really feel, what I got from that story. And I give my...
what I got from that story? Not just the high road.
Yeah.
But it's like she taught him it was okay to have dreams and wishes and intentions, but that he needed to act on them, to actually do something. A lot of people have good intentions or dreams or wishes, and they sit down and they do nothing about them. It sounds like by her, not just what she said, but by what she did and who she was. Like, she volunteered and she, she picked herself up and she just kept moving on. She taught him how to be a truly humane human being.
Yeah.
Good. And that's why, with helping Robert out and trying to get him some speaking engagements, because my fear with Robert was, Robert, I didn't want you to go quietly into the night. I mean, you still hold number one on IMDb, man, and you have millions of people love you, and it's kind of been a resurgence for you and I, and and so the old Sinatra song, I think, is "Love is lovelier the second time around." I don't know, but I saw the beauty in you, and also you're a joy to talk to. I don't have a lot of male friends out here, so I don't get to have that connection. And it's great. It really is, and that's why this guy would not take no for an answer. So I mean, I would bug people, or I like to put the right people together and get a good fit. Well,
thank you. I appreciate that, Steve, and it's a really great gift, and how all of us, including Val and Jimmy and Joe, we're all connected, and that's the wonderful thing.
Wait, what? You think I'm connected to Jimmy?
Everybody's connected to me, Val.
Oh my God! I need to go wash now. Oh, does the water get hotter?
Oh, wait a minute. So, no, but seriously, I mean, it's just really great the way things are happening, and I really love it. But I know we're sort of coming to the end here now. One thing I wanted to say, Steve, I understand, aside from all these other amazing things, that I believe that you are also involved, in the spiritual realm. That you have a very special phone line connection to the afterlife.
You want to talk to me, don't you?
Well, I know you're connected with someone very closely there. The legendary. Legendary comedian Rodney Dangerfield. So, can you quickly connect us by phone so I can talk?
I hope I don't mess it up here. Let me get here. See.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hold on.
Okay. Let me know when you have a line here, okay?
What the hell's going on here? Hey,
Mr. Dangerfield. Yes, that's you, Rodney.
Oh, Zuckerman, how you doing? Hey, good to see you.
Yeah. how's everything going? Tell us what's going on.
Oh, it sucks up here. I'll tell you one thing right now. If you do a good deed down there on earth, get a receipt for it, because heaven's like the damn IRS. I just wrote a book. It's not Kindside. It's called What the Hell Happened. How you doing, doll? I don't know. Hey, how you doing, Val? I'll tell you what, you're on a great show there, Robert. You got Val there, and you got Joe Savino. Joe Savino, you get him with Al Pacino, you get $1 dinero. Hey.
Well, tell me, how are things with your wife?
Oh my God, man! With my wife, I don't get no respect. You know, her birthday came up. I made a toast on her birthday. I said, to the best woman a man had ever been with, the way to join me.
Oh.
And I'll tell you one thing, too. I'll tell you one thing. During sex, my wife always wants to talk to me. Just the other night, she called me from a hotel.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. But let me tell you something, Val. I'm not really a sexy guy. You know, I went to a prostitute one time. I dropped my pants. She dropped her price. And if it wasn't for pickpockets, I'd have no sex life at all.
Oh my goodness!
And I think it kind of stems back to my father. And, my parents, they kind of did this to me. When my old man wanted sex, my mother would just show him a picture of me. So.
Oh God. Oh no! And what about your wife's cooking?
Oh my God! Don't get me started on that. My wife's cooking is so bad. I tell you, the flies chipped in to buy a new screen door. Hey.
And what about don't you have some plans for your anniversary?
I don't know. I told my wife. I said, what would you like for your birthday? She said, I don't know. Maybe my youth back in a divorce. I don't know. Anyway, I just know that it's I don't know. I had a wet dream the other night, Robert. It was amazing. Turns out the waterbed was leaking.
Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, well, look, I got to get back. I'm at Moses' Lounge all week. I'm going to be at the St. Peter's happy hour, so tune in. It was great being on here. Jimmy, Joe,
thanks.
Thanks for having me. For Italians, I hear this is called skilled labor. Don't let Joyner start talking about his sex life. We can have a really short program, Take care. Be well, Robert.
Yeah, put Joyner back on. Thanks.
God, he's awful. He is awful.
That's amazing. Do you have that connection with him, though?
He can be funny, but also mean, and his words.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh well, that was great. Well, thanks for that.
I did want to mention some things real quick, if I may. I don't know. I know we're short for time, and I apologize to your listeners, but real quick, I wanted to mention that I am now representing a woman named Sarah Rachel Tevis. Rachel Tevis. And she's an actress. She's done a lot of great stuff. Hopefully we can get her on your show one time. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I did want to give a shout-out to Todd Chase and Franny Sheridan.
Yes.
Elizabeth Sterling Day. And also my mother-in-law, Pam. And Pam is, she has a condition called dystonia.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk more about it, but she's involved with a organization called the National Dystonia Association, and if you want to look it up, probably Google it or whatever. But she is just an amazing lady, and
this is your wife's mom?
My wife's mother, yes. Her name is Pamela. She worked for many years, and she inherited dystonia. Apparently, it's in the family, and not as mobile as she used to be, but she's just an amazing woman. And you talked about your sister Patty. You got that?
Yeah. Yes, before we sign, I think we're coming to the end here, but also in the shout-outs, let's give a shout-out to Esther Liaka. Yes. Who's another just angel, and we'd love to have you back sometime to continue the conversation.
And hopefully next time we'll actually, we'll have more time because we won't have any technical difficulties.
Yeah, I'm terribly sorry about all that.
Oh, you're okay. It happens with everybody at some point or the other.
Yeah.
That's what my wife told me the other night. Anyways, listen,
Rodney,
Robert, man, thank you for everything you've done. Val, thank you for being so kind to my friend. And, sorry, folks, for all the technical difficulties, but
yeah, good luck tomorrow on your film, Jim. Steve, yeah.
Good luck, Steve. And that's all the time we have tonight, folks, for Real Talk with Robert Zuckerman. Stay tuned because in the next 90 seconds, you will be live with the big boss himself, Joe Rocks. So stay tuned for Night Talk with Joe Rocks. And Until next week, make sure you tune in Thursday nights to Real Talk with Robert Zuckerman.